Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to my channel, The Intuitive Teacup. I felt compelled to do a reading, not for any particular sign, but I checked the bottom of my deck and it was Sagittarius. So yay, you guys get a bonus reading, which is cool because I didn't have time to do birthday bonuses for Libra or Saggy. Sorry about that. But yeah, Saggy's getting one now, so that's cool. So I have no idea what messages are going to come out. I don't even think I'm going to do like a little standard format thing here. Well, I say that, we'll see. But yeah, messages for Saggy. As always, guys, general messages. Not everything I say will resonate. Please come into this with an open heart and an open mind, and ultimately take away only the messages that you feel are helpful to you for your best and highest good. Everything else you can release. What messages are important for Sagittarius right now? Messages for Sagittarius. Those two. Messages for Sagittarius for their best and highest good. Messages that they need to hear in this video. For my Sagittarius gang. For my Sagittarians. Alright, so bottom of your deck, Ten of Swords. Okay, so maybe that's why some of you needed to hear this. I'm going to pull this a little bit closer just because my volume sucks. I don't have a good mic, so. Alright, that's the bottom of your deck. Self-imprisonment. There's something that you need to say or communicate, or someone you need to cut off, and there's pain surrounding this. It could potentially be with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But actually, I sort of see this as an ending to an inability to move forward. Eight of Swords is a self-imprisonment when our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas, they're in a lower vibration and they're not true. They're pointed down, right? So they're not channeling higher vibrational messages from God, from spirit, from universe, from whatever you believe in. Because the underlying energy for this was, or for the Ten of Swords was this, it's almost like that is what you're putting to rest. This inability to speak your truth, to stand up for yourself. I think that's what it is, to fight for yourself. There's something you want and you desire, and I feel like I've said this to you maybe in your last reading. There's a bit of an overwhelmed feeling of how to go after it, and with cups, it does have to do with your heart. It has to do with something or someone that's going to make you happy. Making that executive decision, making that choice with clarity, with confidence, with authority, not being wavering, not being a doormat, not being pushed around, not feeling like your ideas are not valid or that you don't matter. Making that executive decision is a victory. It is, okay, and what's really cool is it's a victory away from trauma of the past. Something that's been keeping you stuck for months or years, something that you haven't been able to put to rest, to put behind you. It's mostly internalized in your head of all places, because emotionally you still feel something. Emotionally you still feel something good. There's something you desire. There's something you want to go after. It's your thoughts that have been telling you differently. And with this, it's, I can't do it. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not educated enough. Fill in the blank. But again, they're false beliefs. If you were to take off the blindfold and look around, Sagittarius, you would realize that, this circle of swords, you can step right out of it. It's almost like, I heard like a dance of the mind. It's tricking yourself to believing thoughts that you don't necessarily understand right now, but getting you out of a clouded headspace of processing information that isn't true, that for so long you've held it as your truth. You've believed all these false negative thoughts. There's something about swaying out of this circle of swords, dancing around them. It's sort of like a fake it till you make it. You may have to tell yourself, and I mean, it's a weird way to phrase this, but it's like you have to be your own life coach. You have to be your own cheerleader, your own supporter of, I am good enough. I am smart enough. I do deserve my own things. It makes me think of that SNL skit, Stuart Smalley, where he talks to himself in the mirror. What is that called? It's It's like positive reinforcements with Stuart Smalley. And that's something you hear about all the time, sticking Post-its on your, your bathroom mirror to remind yourself of, positive things to say to yourself. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like me. You guys should look up that skit. It'll make you laugh. And I think that's what you need right now, Sagittarius. Like, this feels very heavy and very serious. And again, kind of stepping into your power. She's my no bullshit queen, right? Libra, fighting for justice, for truth, to uncover what is this false belief that's been holding you or the team or the family or the relationship or your career back. It's almost like you stepping in to fight for yourself, to save yourself. It's a very powerful message. And then it's actually, I do like this card. It's a difficult energy in that, the depiction is grim, but it's something because it's you. I'm getting this is you coming in to save yourself. What you're letting die off, essentially, what you're letting die out, closing out the cycle. You're getting some sort of conclusion or closure. That's the term I was looking for. Thank you, Spirit. Getting closure on the fact that these ideas were never true to begin with. You thought they were, probably for a significant amount of time, and they were eating away at you, right? They were killing you, right? It was something you were carrying around inside your head for days, for weeks, for months, for years. This feels like at least months, right? Some sort of epiphany comes through potentially where you're able to justify your action in moving away from this, so that you're closing out what's been a very difficult, burdensome cycle. But with this comes freedom, liberty, right? Rebalancing the scales. So center of your spread here is the Two of Swords, a crossroads, a difficult decision, or something you've been blinded to. And it might be this, right? You have two cards of being blindfolded. Some sort of truth that was difficult to swallow, a difficult truth, or something you were scared to face, something that it was easier to ignore or put it on the back burner. I think that's what it is. You couldn't ignore it because it was this. It was physically painful, I think, to be carrying around these thoughts, or if this isn't things you were telling yourself, it could have been things other people around you were telling you that you started to believe. Again, you not being good enough, or you not making enough money, or you being lazy, whatever. It could have been something that somebody else was telling you. There's a need to heal from this, though. And something about calling a truce, putting your swords down to actually communicate and speak about this. Because there's something or multiple things you really want to go towards, and under that is a card of victory, success, triumph, making it through the difficult times and celebrating yourself, right? This is such like a beautiful card to see after all that really heavy sword energy. And this is your suit, right? It's the wands, it's magic, it's passion, it's energy, it's motivation, it's celebration. There's something you're trying to bridge the gap and go from really difficult, troubled times, potentially with your emotion, to a new beginning, potentially a new partnership, potentially with the Queen of Cups or the Emperor with an Aries. Also, very heavy hitters in terms of father and mother energy. It's a card of Cancer, the mother of the zodiac. We have that Cancer full moon happening tomorrow night, January 10th, depending on when you watch this. And the Emperor, a card of Aries. Very intense masculinity, fire energy, the start, the head of the zodiac. Someone who's very rigid and all about structure and order and discipline, right? And he wears his battle armor, right? Like he's gone toe-to-toe with the devil. He's had to fight some gruesome battles, right? So there could be some unreconciled issues with, again, those zodiac signs I mentioned, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, it could be. Or again, it could also be mother or father. Sorry, guys, my camera froze. One of these people, whoever this is, this could also represent your boss, or also like a therapist, a doctor, a psychologist, a nurse, a teacher, something like that. You're anticipating them being very defensive because you have been too. This is sort of what I'm getting. If this is you, Sagittarius, this is the person or the situation that you're not wanting to face. There's an equal amount of resistance here. it's like, how do we let down our guard? How do we bridge the gap so that we can go from difficult times to new happiness, new opportunities of joy and fulfillment? Because you can envision it, you dream about it, it's like you see it in your dreams and your fantasy, all the things you want to go after, all the beautiful things you could do, create, all the people you want to love and embrace and celebrate, right? There's an opportunity that rests within reach, but it's almost like in order to obtain this sort of victory, I'm almost getting like lottery, like striking it rich, bridging that gap, going through difficult waters, difficult emotion to go from A to B, right? There's like a little bridge. It could be going from the past to the future, right? Mending difficult situations of the past, maybe with a Pisces. So this person or this situation that Sagittarius also potentially views as being defensive or deflecting the opportunity to speak and communicate, where does that truly rest here? What is going on with that? This person or situation that Sagittarius is maybe defensive or avoiding or guarded, blocking something. What is the intention of like the opposing energy there? The High Priestess. Yeah, so they're silent. They're not communicating. Again, double cards of Cancer. Someone who's very intuitive, though. Someone who feels your energy, Sagittarius. And I actually get from this someone who's wishing good things for you. Someone who's wishing you well. Psychically sending you energy of healing and love. Very strong maternal vibes. If it's not literally your mother, it may be someone in your life who acted as like a healer or a nurturer. It could even be someone like someone who works in the profession of healing, like a chiropractor or something like that. Or like crystal work, Reiki work. Are they open to bridging this gap with Sagittarius, opening up the channels of communication? So they have Strength in reverse, card of Leo. I'm almost getting, especially with the moon, yeah, almost like lunacy, like they're losing it. They're having trouble staying strong. They're having trouble staying on the defense. So maybe this indicates there's a part of them that does want to reach out, but with this, they continue to remain silent, but it's a huge struggle. They want to attack it like a lion. They want to pounce on the situation. But I don't necessarily think it's in a way where it's like they're going to use their claws, if we're going with this lion metaphor. There's the lion side of them, but there's the lamb, right? It's almost like taming the gentleness of their nature. They seem very zen and calm. And maybe they're presenting as the emperor simply because you're intimidated by them. Again, maybe they I don't know, they earn more money than you do, or you see them as having a very advantageous position, or maybe they call the shots, right? Maybe you feel guilt or remorse about something you did, right? And that's why you're having trouble deciding whether or not you want to move forward. I am sort of getting, as scary and intimidating as this emperor is, they've fought battles, so they've been in your shoes, Sagittarius. They've had to deal with difficult situations, not only externally, but internally as well. They've had to make executive decisions because that's how they've gotten ahead, right? And they weren't always easy. Sometimes they are cold-cutting decisions that, yeah, maybe because they are presenting as fire and water, it's like an emperor who also has like a heart of gold, or a very deep well of emotions, or a counterpart that balances it out. This could be representing their masculine and feminine energies. Maybe this person has very strong Aries and Cancer in their chart. It could be something like that. Or again, mother and father. I keep wanting to go back to that. I don't know why. Yeah, you see them as having their cup closed off, that they're still holding resentment or anger. And again, with the way this is coming up, they have tempered that. They have come to a place where they are more calm and potentially willing to let down their guard. I think this is just how you view them. They're also presenting as the Two of Swords. So if this isn't a parent-child dynamic, this could represent a twin flame dynamic. They're confused, though. It's almost like things swarming around in their head, and something about them being very spiritual. They're getting messages from source, from higher power, but they're questioning their intuition as well. They're questioning how to feel about the situation and whether or not they should be the one to communicate, or whether that's going to tie up communication even more, or whether that's going to make matters worse, ruffle feathers. I think they're trying to approach this like with a handle with care mentality. Yeah, absolutely. The assessment mode. They're still trying to figure out how to get this to grow. This does feel like a relationship, and again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it does feel that way for some of you. They're trying to stay grounded and be very logical about how they view this. And I think in their heart, they believe that you've moved on and don't want to reconcile. I think that's where your person is at. Are they open to it? Yes, but they're also extremely confused about who. It's almost like, whose turn is it in the chess match? Whose turn is it to play the next piece? I get really gentle, nice vibes from them, but I do get that they're losing hope. They look back on memories of you guys together and feel saddened or disheartened, or this glass half empty. It could, like, the idea of it could never be repaired, even though I think, again, they're open to it. There's something very like, they see the potential for these seeds to grow. If this thing were to be nurtured enough, if you were to give it sunlight, fire, and water, right, with all my Cancerian, Pisces, Scorpio cards here, there's the potential to get this to grow again. But it's almost like they're trying to convince themselves that the memories of you are in the past, and I'm getting sort of back and forth messages. The more they think about you, the deeper the connection grows for them, and yet at the same time, it gets them in a very confused place in their head, because they already think that it's like you've jumped overboard. You've left this behind, Six of Swords, you've moved on mentally. And I mean, you've been carrying something around with you mentally for a long time. And as I said, I think you're going to liberate it. I think you're going to free it. And maybe you're going to liberate this person's anxiety in some capacity. By letting your guard down. Blackbird Singing in the Dead of Night by the Beatles. Oh, interesting. This is a card from an entirely different deck, which I find to be very auspicious. And yeah, Venus and Virgo. Someone who's never left the safety of their own garden. Someone who's stepped outside the comfort zone. The irony here is this isn't comfortable for you, but it's all you've known for the last weeks, months, years. These false beliefs have become like a comfort zone. You haven't recognized that you can step out at any time, that you have the power to fight through this, right? And if you can't do it on your own, again, if I always say with these type of high sword, this Gemini cards, these 8, 9, and 10 of swords, if you can't do it yourself, that's a great time to seek counseling, to seek therapy, to seek some sort of like someone who can talk about your emotions with you. Again, card of Cancer. Setting yourself free from what has become a comfort zone. You've probably been focused on your money, on your work. Maybe keeping a very small circle of friends, but with a 9 and being Virgo, it's sort of like hermit mode, not wanting to rock the boat. Which may or may not be inevitable. I think your person is trying to move on, but it's like they're caught between a rock and a hard place. And that's exactly what I mean by this. There is part of them that is trying to be very practical and very rigid about the past is the past and the future is now, and maybe or maybe not that doesn't include them. But even the way this is depicted, lion and lamb, there's a great duality to this person. They may have very strong water and fire in their chart. And even with the 7s, they're an assessment. How can I look at this practically and get it to grow? Whereas your energy, Sagittarius, you had a 7 as well, but you have the 7 of Cups. You're looking at this emotionally, psychically, in a space of love and opportunity. It is looking optimistically to the future. Like it's just like that last little push you need to step outside of this and free yourself. Caught between a rock and a hard place. This person doesn't know what to do. I think they pray a lot. I think they go within a lot. I think they seek advice from spirit or universe or their friends or maybe their parents. Maybe they're very close with their parents. Maybe they have parents who are fire and water signs. They feel lost. And ironically, you do too, though, Sagittarius. Let's go back to... And maybe you're contemplating if you actually do want to reconcile with this person or if it's easier to live your life without them. You have the Queen of Cups again. So, triple Cancer energy. Cancer in some way is going to play a huge role in your life, Sagittarius. If not now, if not in the past, potentially looking into the future, the seer, the fortune teller, the psychic. Something about like cosmic connections, cosmic wisdom, cosmic healing. I do think, Sagittarius, a lot of this does have to do with a relationship that you want to bridge a gap in. And it's sort of like, again, you're caught between the two. You may have been with two people, like, especially relationship-wise. This is a very unusual message, but relationship-wise that looked very similar, like you may have a type. Or, and not to be weird, I'm just saying it because it's presenting, you may have dated someone that reminds you of your mother or reminds you of your father. Or do you understand what I'm saying? There's like a twin thing going on here, and these are completely different decks, and they're on both sides of the swords, the indecision, this way or that way, that choice or the other one. Holding these two swords up, though, it's heavy, right? You can't do it much longer. Eventually, you're going to have to give. Eventually, you may have to communicate or accept some thought that you've been very adverse to accepting. And it may be that you can no longer hold yourself back. Wow, that's a very powerful message, isn't it? You can't stay in the safety zone anymore. And I call it a safety zone very loosely because, again, it's like you've been here so long, you've started to call it home, but you didn't realize just how uncomfortable it was, that you're never going to achieve your dreams and your goals if you're constantly putting yourself down or believing things someone told you that kept you in a state of feeling like shit, right? I like that this is what's trying to come in for you. It's what you're seeing. It's almost like you've been eclipsed. And I always call this card the total eclipse of the heart, right? If you were to turn around, like the lyrics of that song, there's opportunity here. Something from this awful, messy situation came something beautiful. Something beautiful came out of this that you can still capitalize on. You can still utilize. You can still go after. And it's in alignment with your heart, Cups. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. This is, I believe it's a Scorpio card. You have Pisces here with the moon, and you have 3 cards of Cancer. And because this is a card of the moon, and Cancer rules the moon, or the moon rules Cancer, however you want to say it, you a lot of Cancerian energy, another card of Scorpio, and then your card. Wow. So that's what I mean. You may have dated both a Scorpio and a Pisces. You may have dated a Scorpio and a Cancer, a Sagittarius and a water sign. 2 of Cups. So there's opportunity to find new love or reconcile love with somebody in the past. Oh my God, you guys, I can't make this up. Where there was heartbreak, there was disarray, there was something was out of whack. There was an imbalance in the thoughts and the beliefs and the communications about each other and the relationship. But look, a card of victory, a card of Cancer. You have 4 cards of Cancer on the table. So if you don't have a Cancer in your life now, Sagittarius, this 2 of Cups could represent once you've done the healing work, once you've healed your heart, and again, you've stepped into your power and you're fighting for what you want and what you want to believe in, when you're being your own cheerleader and standing up for yourself, making executive decisions in your own life, that in itself is a victory that is going to push you forward because you've balanced your energies, your dark and your light energies. That's going to help you in your healing process, and that is going to usher in new, beautiful relationships and love. Because you're the angel of love, aren't you, Sagittarius? You're Temperance, right? The blending of opposites, fire and water. Another card of Pisces. The dreamer, the hopeless romantic, somebody who thinks with their emotions. I honestly want to say that's what I think you need to start doing, Sagittarius, because you were too stuck in your head before. Your thoughts were deceiving you. Your thoughts were not progressing you in your journey. I just saw King of Wands. I think that's representing you, Sagittarius. Male or female, stepping into your executive power and getting your passion back, your zest for life, your verve and energy, right? Something about music is very important here. Music and leadership. Commanding the room, again, making executive decisions and speeches, convincing the crowd, convincing mom and dad. Internal growth on your spiritual path and travel. Committing to something. Committing to your healing, committing to your new life outside of this really traumatic thing that happened in the past. With the 10, it's the completion of a cycle. You can put it to bed, you can put it to rest, and that's why Judgment's coming through. In Capricorn season, we are forced to face karmic cycles to close out old cycles, and you have Scorpio coming through too. Where is it? Death. Put a death to things that are no longer helpful to you in your life. Maybe it's a Gemini. It doesn't have to be, right? Maybe it's an air sign. Maybe it's a Cancer, right? I mean, Cancer is so prominent here. Moving away from something that was keeping you stuck, excess baggage, something you no longer needed in your life. This is moving forward to these beautiful opportunities because your heart is calling you to do so. These are in alignment with your heart. You are being asked to utilize that energy. Move towards your heart. Maybe you have a lot of water in your chart. It's asking you to tap into that, particularly in that Cancer full moon. And that doesn't mean just for a day, right? It's asking you to tap into your subconscious, your intuition, your emotions are what needs to drive you forward. And committing to that path of I will say, leaving the past in the past. You may be tempted to go back and revisit that or fall into old patterns of thought, of belief, that again, as we established, aren't true. It's like once you cut yourself free from these thoughts, once you cut yourself loose, keep on the straight and narrow. And for you, that is all about listening to what your heart wants, not what your mom wants, not what your dad wants, not what your ex wants, what you want, what you desire. Because there's a lot that you desire, right? There's 7 cups there, and most of them look like pretty good, like avenues for opportunity that might bring you joy. All right. The Empress, another card of the mother. Actually, let's clarify with this. Yeah, growth and creation. You are creating a new life for yourself with this Fool energy coming through. And with the Queen of Wands, a divine pairing is now on the board. Potentially a romantic partnership with a Capricorn, though it doesn't have to be. Starting anew. moving away towards healthy decisions, towards healthy patterns, healthy lifestyles. Yeah, and getting your flame back, getting your fire back, the Ace of Wands, getting your passion back, getting your magic back, stepping into your power. Focusing on nature, focusing on spirituality, and also your job, your business opportunities. Starting a family for some of you. And yes, something about the mother here, moving towards the Empress. A beautiful, I don't want to say it has to be a female, but for a lot of you it is. Moving towards an important female in your life with swift action, swift communication. There is something about birth and like creation of the spark, re-sparking a connection with your Empress. And maybe this Empress represents your business, your career, your skill, your talent, your hobby. Could also represent a person. It's a card of Taurus and Libra. Could also be that you're Cancer here, even if your Cancer is male. Gender doesn't really matter, but your Nine of Cups, your wish fulfillment. Yeah, this would be someone you like. This is someone you hold in very high regard. Again, another divine pairing, Emperor and Empress. This is fire, so again, gender out the window. If you, Sagittarius, are a fire sign, this might be who you're moving towards. Someone who's very in tune with nature. Again, Cancer, someone who has like psychic abilities, motherhood, healing. They're somewhere in alignment with your wish fulfillment. So even if it's not romantic, one of these cups is represented, or the Empress is representative of one of these cups. It's something, again, you dream about. You can envision moving towards them. I think you do. I think you end up moving towards them because something about it, it's going to bring you love and joy and heal a wounded heart. And maybe that's their heart, or maybe it's your heart. Maybe it's both. Yeah, I think you've been sitting on the idea of moving forward for a long time. This is a card of rest. This is, again, about empowering yourself, stepping into your power, taking the sword, and fighting for what it is that you want. And with the Four of Swords, a card of rest, relaxation, soothing thoughts, you haven't had that, have you? You've had sort of the opposite of that. So this is almost saying to me, once you have closed out a cycle of unhealthy thoughts, there is a time of healing that will take place, of recuperation. Maybe it's 4 weeks, maybe it's 4 months. I don't think it's 4 years. It doesn't feel like that to me. When you are ready to, I think that's when you make that decision of this way or that way. Do I or don't I? This person or that person? This job or that job? Mom or dad? Whatever your decision is that you're avoiding or blocking off or avoiding. This, as I was saying, the swords will get heavy. Eventually, you're going to have to give. Your intuition, again, all this Cancerian moon energy, Pisces and Scorpio as well, water energy, is guiding this decision. We've said that a lot. Listen to your heart is the biggest message to take away from this. That is going to inform this important decision on how to move forward. You're going to rest on it for a while. You're going to think about it, right? Eventually, there will be some sort of enlightenment or epiphany or communication. Again, it could be from God, from universe, from spirit, or it could represent you, Sagittarius, being like, okay, like I've thought about this as much as I can. Now I'm going to move forward with the action, with the communication. Bring justice to the situation. Bring victory to it, right? Maybe you're closing out some sort of difficult relationship with a parent or a family member. And once you do, once you go to like that very dark space that maybe you've been wanting to avoid because you're not sure how balanced the other person is or if they're going to bite back or what the repercussions will be, moving forward in good faith with that moon that the sun will shine again. Again, the subconscious, the intuition that's trying to creep up out of the water, you're being asked to follow that path. Again, a card of Pisces. And it's like once you do, then comes the light of day. Then comes the sun. The sun will come out tomorrow, right? Another card of Cancer. That's what pulls your chariot forward, balancing your own dark and light energies. And that's what you've been doing here. I did see the devil. So your dark energies are popping up, but you know who the devil's next to? The King of Cups. So again, kind of, I mean, this is earth and water, but just the depiction of the cards, the dark and then the light, right? The love. And again, here it is depicting the lovers in a lower vibration, a card of Capricorn for those dealing with a Capricorn. We had said that earlier. And also, again, another divine pairing. King and Queen of Cups, water elementals. So, coming into your power, speaking your truth, fighting for yourself and what you believe in. Again, making executive decisions unapologetically because it is for your health, because it is for your healing, because it is in alignment with what you want. That is the path you're being asked to take here. There's one more card here, and I'm going to wrap it up with that. But you have the King and Queen of Wands, so double fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You have the King and Queen of Water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And then you also have the Emperor and the Empress, Taurus, Libra, and Aries. Career heavy people, again, mother and father. This to me is also mother and father, as well as psychic healers, intuitive empaths, very like nurturing, caring people. This could be your best friends, right? Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. And then this is both. This is like a really beautiful blending of work hard, play hard. So yeah, it's getting fun and energy back into your life, feeling motivated, feeling driven to go after what it is that your heart really wants. All right, last card. So is it the 7? No, it's the 8. The 8 of Pentacles. So this is my worker card, the apprenticeship, the artisan, working tremendously hard, staying grounded, using your logic, it's earth energy, to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. This would be work though that you enjoy because you know you're working towards something bigger. It's not so much that you're definitely not living in the past. There's two things. It's living in the present and that you are happy and satisfied in this moment now. And to that I would ask you, are you? And so with this, it's almost like an avoidance of, are you keeping your head in the books because you're trying to avoid some certain situation, some reality, some truth that needs to be faced? Some very important truth, some very important communication. And that's what this could be too, resting on it because you're hesitant or nervous to move forward. This feels like an avoidance a little bit, but with that, it's also keeping the greater picture in mind that if you do the work, it will yield results. A card of Virgo, something about like the Knight of Pentacles is coming through here, change, movement, progress. You will get it done. It will be accomplished at the end of the day, but it's not always going to be easy. This is actually asking you to take some sort of risk or go into some sort of realm that does intimidate you. It does scare you. You do have to kind of stand toe-to-toe with the devil to face that dark side. Maybe it's of your own personality, of yourself, your inner demons, your lunacy, right? And I say that because of the moon, right? Lunar. Or maybe it's representative of somebody in your life who've made you feel shackled, who've made you feel like a slave, worthless, keeping you down in some sort of power dynamic. It's sort of asking you to face this again in Capricorn season, karmic cycles. This feels like something that is ready to transition out of your life so that you can welcome in like new beginnings, new partnerships, fun times, celebrations. This feels great. It's forward movement, progression. It's like sparklers. What lights your fire, right? I always quote that, Jim Morrison. Sagittarian, sexy, fun, music, dancing, partying, right? In moderation, of course. But it feels like you need that sort of release. It feels like you're really looking to bring love and joy back into your life. But I do want to say there's a person or a situation that mentally you've been carrying around for you so long and it's doing more damage than good. So this is almost saying if you face your shadow self, if you face the demon, if you go in and fight, right? Maybe it's going to take some very cutting words. Ultimately, you're going to liberate yourself. Liberation, freedom, justice, expressing your truth. That is going to bring victory in your life and movement to welcome in new avenues of love and opportunity. All right, Sagittarius. Woo, that was a heavy one. I knew I had to do something for someone, and yeah, I guess it was your message. So I hope this helped whoever needed to hear it. Sending you guys all my best. Saggies, you guys know I love you. Got mad love for you. If you can, like, share, subscribe, I would certainly appreciate it. Other than that, wishing you a very happy Cancer full moon, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye.